The cabin hums at 38,000 feet, a lullaby of engines and unspoken things. Grayson Holt hasn't heard his daughter speak in 13 hours. Not on the drive to Changi Airport. Not even at the gate. Not even when security offered her a candy with a cartoon tiger on the wrapper. She simply held his hand and looked down. He's a man used to noise, markets, meetings, and mergers. But silence? Silence is where ghosts live. First-class seats, 2A and 2B, Singapore to Paris. Enough space for distance to feel comfortable. Grayson, mid-30s, clean lines, and colder edges, lives inside a fortress made of control. His laptop glows with spreadsheets, the one place life still obeys him. Beside him, Lila, 5, legs folded beneath her, bunny pressed to her chest, a tray of untouched food before her. She hasn't eaten again. He closes the laptop. The screen goes dark, reflecting two faces, one weary, one waiting. A gentle voice breaks through. "Would your daughter like some juice?" He looks up. Isla Wren, 28, steady hands, eyes that listen before they speak. The kind of poise only years of serving strangers at 30,000 feet can teach. He says, "We're fine," polite, final. But Isla's attention isn't on him. "I brought apple juice with the fox on it," she says softly, crouching to Lila's level. The fox can be a little bossy, but he makes good company. Lila doesn't reply. Isla sets the cup down anyway, opens the meal lid, and quietly cuts the pasta into smaller pieces. "She hasn't been eating," Grayson murmurs, guilt hiding behind the words. "It's not you," Isla answers without looking up. Sometimes it's not about anyone. It's just about feeling safe. She lifts a forkful, waits. No pressure, just presence. Lila's hand twitches. Then, slowly, she opens her mouth. A bite, a chew, a swallow. Grayson's throat tightens. He hasn't seen that small motion, trust, in years. When Lila finishes the second bite, she whispers a single word. "Angel." Isla smiles, not big, just real. "Not quite, but I listen." For the first time in a long while, altitude feels lighter. Hours later, the flight descends into twilight. Leela is asleep against his arm, Bunny tucked under her chin. Around them, passengers stretch, laugh, plan tomorrow. Grayson just sits there, memorizing the peace on his daughter's face, something fragile, like glass after a storm. At the door, Isla thanks passengers with practiced calm. When her eyes find Leela, they soften. She doesn't look again. At the terminal, Grayson turns to his daughter. "Wait here." He walks back, toward the crew exit, where Isla wheels her suitcase. "Miss Wren?" She pauses, surprised. "Mr. Holt." "I meant what I said on the plane. I don't usually ask for help, but something about you worked." She tilts her head. "I'm glad she ate." "That's not what I mean. You got through to her." Isla adjusts her bag, wary. Sometimes it's not about getting through. Sometimes it's just showing up. He hesitates. We'll be in Paris for 2 weeks. I brought Leela hoping a change of place might help, but I didn't plan on this. This? You. A flicker. The smallest heartbeat between them. I'd like to hire you, he says finally. Not as staff, but as presence, familiarity. I'm not looking for a new job. I'm not offering one. Just 3 days, to help her feel safe. Silence stretches. Behind him, Leela waits, clutching his coat sleeve. Isla looks from father to child, exhales. 3 days. No promises. 3 days. He agrees. Paris, Hotel Eclade, 47th floor. Rain paints the skyline silver. Inside, luxury whispers. Marble floors, curated art, emptiness. Grayson lives here like he lives everywhere. Surrounded, but alone. When Isla steps in, the air shifts. She doesn't gawk at the view. She looks for Lila. The little girl sits curled on the couch, Bunny in her lap. Television muted. Isla kneels beside her. Hi again, she says softly. Sorry I disappeared before you could say goodbye. Lila looks up, then reaches out, fingers brushing Isla's hand. That's all it takes. Dinner arrives, simple, warm. Isla helps Lila eat half her plate, then a little more. Grayson watches from across the room, not intervening, just absorbing, like a man studying light after years of darkness. Later, Isla reads from a children's book until Lila drifts off. Grayson leans against the doorframe, arms folded. She never lets anyone do that, he says quietly. Not since her mother. Isla closes the book. Sometimes it's not about trust, it's about timing. He nods, more to himself than her. When Lila smiles in her sleep, Isla whispers, children don't forget joy. They just wait for someone safe enough to share it with. If you believe every child deserves patience, hit subscribe, because the world moves too fast for the quiet ones. The city hums below rain clouds. Inside, echoes of old art breathe through the marble halls. Lila walks between Isla and Grayson, her small hand tugging Isla's fingers every few steps. For the first time in years, Grayson doesn't feel like an observer in his own life. He laughs when Lila points at a painting, a woman with her child, and says, "That's us." The sound catches Isla off guard. His laughter is rare, rich, unguarded. After lunch, Isla steps aside to take a call. Her tone changes, soft but strained. Grayson overhears a few words, hospital, dad, no insurance. When she notices him, she forces a smile. All fine, she says. But Grayson Holt doesn't do fine. He's built empires on reading silence. That evening, after putting Lila to bed, he finds Isla on the balcony, her uniform jacket folded beside her, Paris shimmering beneath them. You're leaving, he says quietly. She doesn't answer at first. I should, she says finally. My father, he's not well. I didn't plan on staying this long. Grayson steps closer, unsure when professional distance stopped feeling necessary. Let me help. I can't accept your money. I didn't offer money, he replied. I offered help. She turns. That's the same thing in your world. Silence. He's never been the man people call kind, but tonight, he wishes he were. Sometimes the richest thing a person can give isn't money, it's time. If you've ever learned that, you know what real wealth feels like. 2 days later, Capri, Italy. The air smells like lemons and salt. Grayson brought Lila here after Isla's sudden departure, an impulsive escape that doesn't work. Lila is quieter again. Her meals go untouched. One evening, he finds her standing by the balcony railing, bunny in hand. "When is Angel coming back?" she asks. Grayson's chest tightens. "Soon," he lies. She looks up at him with all the innocence he's spent years trying to protect. "You should tell her you're sorry." "For what?" "For being scared." He doesn't answer. That night, Grayson stares at his phone, her number glowing on the screen. He types, deletes, retypes. Finally, Paris wasn't about business. It was about you. He hit send, then nothing. No reply. A week later, Capri Harbor. Grayson stands at the pier, Lila on his shoulders, watching boats scatter the morning fog. He's trying to remember what it felt like to be certain. Then, a familiar voice. "You're blocking the view." He turns. Isla, wind in her hair, tired eyes, suitcase at her feet. Lila gasps, "Angel!" Grayson sets her down just in time for Lila to run forward, arms open. Isla kneels, hugging her tight. When Isla rises, Grayson sees the truth written on her face. Exhaustion, relief, something deeper. "I wasn't sure you'd come," he says. "I wasn't sure either, but someone reminded me, sometimes we don't choose the people who save us, we just thank them." They walk along the pier, slow, quiet. "I read your message," she says. "And?" "You shouldn't apologize for being scared. You should be scared of never feeling anything at all," she says softly. He exhales, a sound caught between a laugh and surrender. "Then what do I do now?" She meets his gaze. "Start by having breakfast. You look terrible." Lila laughs. He does too. And just like that, something shifts. Not loud, not grand, just real. 2 months later, Capri Villa, sunrise. Grayson is on the terrace, coffee untouched, watching Lila chase a cat across the garden. Isla sits nearby, sketchbook in hand. "You could have gone back to flying," he says quietly. "I still might, but for now, I'm here." He studies her, sunlight in her hair, calm in her smile. "You've changed everything," he says. "No," she corrects. "You just started noticing." A knock interrupts, his assistant holding a phone. "Sir, it's about the Singapore deal. Urgent." Grayson glances at Isla, then at Lila's laughter floating through the air. He takes the call, but instead of turning away, he says, "Tell them I'll call back. My daughter's learning to smile again." Isla looks at him, proud, soft, unsure. The moment stretches between them, full, fragile, unfinished. He steps closer. "3 days, you said." She smiles. "It's been 90. Then maybe it's time to renegotiate." Lila's laughter carries on the wind, pure, endless, alive. If this story reminded you that healing begins the moment someone stays, hit subscribe, because somewhere, someone's silence is waiting for your kindness.